How's everybody?
And good morning to you. We are very pleased to be bringing you two guests this morning on the Good Morning Show. And we're going to start with Wade Bartley. Good morning, Wade.
Good morning, Enola. Thanks for having me here.
At this time of year, I know you have got the Help a Child benefit working.
It's going in full swing right now as we speak. Looks to be a really good year.
Set for the middle of October, Saturday the 16th, at the Civic Center and on the grounds.
That's correct. Third Saturday in October.
Tell us the features of this year's event.
Well, as usual, we're going to have our chili and brisket cook-off and pinto beans cook-off, and that'll be served to the public, $10 all you can eat, and you'll also get Dutch oven peach cobbler to go along with that.
That's a pretty good price for all that.
It's real cheap. Yeah. And then the Ira Black FFA Shop Project Show and Auction, again this year. We do this in memory of Mr. Black, and each of the FFA chapters build projects. They bring them in and they donate them to our event, and we auction them off.
Okay.
And then we do take other items for the auction along with that. So our raffle item, which is presented or sponsored each year by the Falk Company.
Okay.
And the Como Picton FFA custom builds a trailer that goes along with this. So raffle tickets are available for that item to be given away on October the 16th.
Okay.
First time this year, we're going to have a calf show for the youth of our area, or just anywhere in Texas if they want to come to the show. Help kind of brush up on their skills, get their stock ready for the larger shows, Fort Worth, San Antonio, Houston, places like that. And so we're looking forward to this year. Also, we're going to have a cornhole tournament, which will be held inside the Civic Center.
Okay.
So any competitors out there want to come in and sign up, we have contact numbers for the person who's conducting that. Also, we're going to have a team of Clydesdale horses and a carriage available out there to give rides to the children and be photo ops, and they're also going to help raise funds for the event that day.
Very good. Well, I know it's well planned, and it's the 14th annual, so it's not the first time you've done the Help a Child benefit.
No, it's grown every year due to the support from our community and families. And I got to mention some of our presenting sponsors here today, if you don't mind, and that's the Benson Brother Record Service out of Commerce here in Sulphur Springs, BT Medical Supplies, In Touch by Cumby Lone Star Clinic, Alliance Bank, and Farm Country have been one of our continuous presenting sponsors throughout the years, and many other sponsors at different levels come in, and it helps us to almost break a record every year.
Tell us why you hold this event, this fundraising event called Help a Child Benefit.
All of our funds are distributed annually to at least 3 beneficiaries, and this year we're going to broaden the scope. But the Texas Scottish Rite Hospital for Children has been one of our recipients each year. The Northeast Texas Child Advocacy Center in Winsboro is also a recipient. And 2 years ago, we started sponsoring a foster family in the area, and we'll be doing that again this year. We reached out to several different Masonic lodges in our area to take part in this because each lodge can apply to Grand Lodge for matching funds up to $1,500. So what we're going to do is each lodge that participates will donate $1,500 to that lodge. They can apply for matching funds, so it doubles the money, and we're looking to be able to give out $30,000 in scholarships this year to local graduating seniors.
Wow. And that's quite a jump.
Yes, tremendous. Yes.
Good planning, Wade.
It's taken a lot of people to do this.
And I noticed that on your poster, and they're all over town, a nice big colorful poster proclaiming the 16th of October as the 14th annual Help a Child benefit. And under each of the features is a contact person. So you have a lot of people helping you. Yes,
and we reached out to these other Masonic lodges so we could get some more help. And so they have stepped up, they've taken responsibility, and they're chairing the different events. So if people can get their phone numbers from this poster, or they can call me, and I'll get them in contact with whatever division they might be interested in, and we can go from there.
Okay. Let me say thank you for doing this. And I remember various locations it's been held over the years, and people just love what you put on with the Help a Child benefit.
Well, we appreciate that. We enjoy doing it.
And thank you, Wade. And would you just give a phone number in case someone wants to call and ask you questions? I know you answer on the mobile phone a lot.
Yes, that's 903-348-1878.
Got it. Thank you, Wade.
Thank you, Anola. We appreciate you.
We'll look forward to the Help a Child benefit October the 16th. That's a Saturday at the Civic Center. And we've got another subject, and we're going to bring John Sellers in. Good morning, John.
Good morning.
Hi. You also have an October event.
I sure do. On the second day of October, to be held at City Hall, the Hopkins County Genealogical Society is sponsoring an all-day genealogical seminar. They've asked me to be the speaker, and I will be giving 4 sessions that day. It'll basically be starting at 9 o'clock, registration about 8:30, and go through about 4 o'clock. There'll be 2 sessions in the morning. We'll break for lunch, and then there'll be 2 sessions in the afternoon.
Okay. Now, you say registration at 8:30, but pre-registration.
Yeah, pre-registration. Yes, you can contact the Genealogical Society Library. Unfortunately, this week is closed temporarily, but we have an answering machine, and you can call and leave a message and to secure your spot, because we're starting to fill up. The great thing about this seminar, though, if you do not want to come in person or not comfortable coming in person, even though we're going to do everything we can to make everybody as comfortable as they can be, it will also be broadcast virtually. Okay. So you do have to pay and they'll give you how to log in, and we're even considering recording the sessions, which will be available after the time for the same price for a limited amount of time, but to give it even a third option if you're not available that day but would like to register and listen to the recordings later.
That is very smart, and it's at your disposal to do something like that. Another way to help people.
Right. You know, of course, in the last year and a half, we've learned a lot about doing things virtually and Zooming. I've had a lot of experience myself. I had 2 national conferences this year that we did virtually, and it worked out really well, and I've got pretty used to that. And then having the privilege of serving on the city council, I conducted a lot of my meetings there for a while via Zoom. So I'm quite comfortable with doing it that way. I mean, I love people to be in person, and the City Hall is going to be a great venue to have, and our volunteers put on such a good. I'm just kind of the guest that day. I have the privilege of being able to speak. I love speaking on genealogy and how to do research. 3 of my topics that day are going to be dealing with courthouse research. One of them is the unusual things you find in courthouses. And then I'm going to do a whole hour on the district court, which a lot of people don't think about the district court as much in their genealogical research, but it has some valuable benefits. And then I'm going to talk about wills, which of course is back in the county court, and then people that are also didn't have wills and how that works and how to find out information about that. And then my last hour is going to be on newspapers. And newspapers have become, there have been thousands of newspapers that have been digitized now, and there's great sources, both free and paid sources, where you can research in newspapers. But I'm going to talk about how to get the most out of that research and where your sources are, and because newspapers are just a wealth of information, especially those old newspapers from those small communities, and all the personal columns and the obits and everything that you're trying to research on your family, and then just some good reads about what's going on in your hometowns of your ancestors.
It makes me a little sad to think that we all may have taken newspapers for granted.
Yes. Oh, really? Yeah, newspapers, of course, you think about prior to 1920, which that's 100 years ago now, but newspapers were the only vehicle of communication before that for the general public. And you will find a lot of rural people would subscribe to the nearest larger town newspaper to keep up with what was going on in the world, because that was really really the only way that they had. And so newspapers really served an important part. And then they changed their roles as different media have come about. And newspapers are kind of struggling in this day and time, but I feel like they still have their niche in the community. And we have a good local newspaper, and I think, it needs to be supported.
I remember reading about a very prominent and famous man from Fort Worth who promoted Fort Worth as where the West begins.
Yes.
His name doesn't come to mind right now, but he was over a newspaper, and they would drop those out of airplanes for people who lived far apart out in West Texas.
Right. It's probably Amon Carter.
Amon Carter.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they didn't miss the news.
And, they didn't miss the news. And like the Dallas, unfortunately, we've had a loss of our early papers. There's just some scattered years up until about 1940. But what a lot of people don't realize is Sulphur Springs was covered in the larger papers because it was the regional. Dallas Morning News, prior to about 1925, weekly had what they called news around the state, and Sulphur Springs had a column in there a lot of times. So there's a lot of Sulphur Springs news in those early Dallas Morning News, and those have been digitized now. So you have easier access to do research now than you used to do.
Very interesting, and so will be the topics on the day of the seminar. And there are people out there who are members of the Genealogical Society, and then others who maybe haven't joined yet. There are benefits to being a member.
Right, definite.
And those who haven't yet started that interesting work of genealogy.
Right. And we're always welcoming new members, but our library is open to anybody. You do not have to be a member, nor do we require you to be a member when you use our wonderful facility. We just want you to support us.
And right now, you mentioned the temporary closure, but still, if you have a question that doesn't take a lot of time to research, could still.
That's right. And our phone number at the library is 903-885-8523.
Okay. And again, just the dates and times of the seminar.
It is October the 2nd, and it'll start at 9 a.m., and it is at City Hall.
Okay. And you're going to break for lunch so that they can get out and see our
see our town. Yes. And last year, we did this last year, and we were able to have it, and we had a lot of out-of-town visitors in supporting downtown and our restaurants, and there were some of them that stayed in the hotels, too, so we had good tourism support.
Okay, it's all good. Thank you very much, John Sellers.
Thank you.
And also Wade Bartley for coming in this morning.
Thank you.